my poopy? Hey guys, welcome to my disaster of a sewing room. Today is going to be a little different. I've never done anything like this before, and frankly, I didn't expect to be doing something like this so soon, but with everything going on and all the big life things that I'm currently doing at this particular moment, that not right now, but like Sunday when you're watching this, like, whoo, a lot of stuff's happened, guys. Wow, hashtag got married.
Plan A was marrying her a long time ago. Pretty much the day I met her.
I have a lot to do this week. I have to make a wedding dress. I had started the wedding dress, I think last week, and it's a simple thing. I'm making the by hand London Hannah wrap dress out of just a really nice plain white linen that I got from Burnley and Trowbridge. I need to finish this wedding dress because I had originally cut the pattern with 1 inch added to the waist length because I have a long torso, and holy titty city, Batman. Everything's cut out. The skirt is basically ready to go. I just have to remake the bodice and then reattach everything. It's a pretty quick make. There's no zippers, there's no buttons or anything. In order to do that, I need to find my sewing room again because in addition to filming YouTube videos, doing this whole work for myself thing now, I also have like 15,000 sewing projects going on at once. I have masks that I need to make, a pair of 1930s Decades of Style kitchenette pajamas that I need to finish. It's like over here in a pile. I am not an organized person, but I like my sewing room to be at a certain level of organization, and right now it's stressing me out. I am also flirting with disaster because there are so many pins on my floor right now and I'm in here barefoot because it's summer and it's hot. All the pins. I know. Please don't in the comments. Like, I know it's real stupid of me, okay? Like, I fully am aware of how dumb I'm being right now, okay? I thought what we would do today is I would tidy up my sewing room a bit, get me some space so I can finish making this wedding dress, clean up all the paper from the PDF patterns, clean up all these scraps from other things. While doing that, I just thought I would answer some of your all's questions. So I put a call out on my Patreon, my YouTube community page, and my Instagram account asking what questions you all have for me. And then once the sewing room's tidy, then I thought we would like finish making my wedding dress together or something. We'll see how this goes. I have no idea. It's Tuesday. I'm getting married on Saturday. The video comes out on Sunday. This video is going to be out on Patreon by Saturday. So I have a lot of stuff I need to do right now. And like talking here is probably not actually the best use of my time. So let's get to it, guys. Let's get to cleaning and answering questions because I'm out of time. So the first question that like actually made me kind of poop my pants a little bit in like a good way. Mina asked, what decade or time frame in general would you say Howl's Moving Castle is set in based on the outfit? Sunday night, I watched Howl's Moving Castle for the first time ever. I loved it. Howl's Moving Castle, obviously it's fantasy, so you know, take that for what you will, because like Howl does not, he looks like he should be in a K-pop band. I'm not, you know, in the 1800s or 1900s. I would say Howl's Moving Castle is probably in that kind of like generic Edwardian period. You know, sometime in the early 1900s. I would be more comfortable putting it in like 1900 than say like early 1890s because the sleeves are not that big, and just like some of the silhouette stuff and the hair of how they drew everyone, I would say like, yeah, it's probably like 1900s, but also have fun with it because it's a fantasy, right? Like it's a cartoon. It's cool. It's having a good time. What is my favorite and least favorite fabric to work with? My favorite fiber to work with is wool. I love wearing wool. I will wear wool all the time if I could, and if I had the different types of wools that were available, even for summer. But I mean, like, I don't have as big of a collection of wool as I would like. Followed by silk, followed by closely with linen. My least favorite, well, out of the natural fabrics, it would be cotton, simply because I find cotton to be very boring, and we don't have as nice a variety of cotton that we used to have back in the past, and so most of it's quilting cotton anyways, and gross. I don't like working with it, even though like I am working with it right now for like my pajamas, but that's because it's just stuff to wear around the house. I don't like working with fake fibers. So Elise asks me if I have a favorite Worth gown, or if, what else? Oh, hold on, no, that's my spot. If not, do you have a favorite designer dress costume? And you know, no, I don't actually. I know it's kind of weird, but you know what? That is not true. That is not true, Elise. I do have a favorite gown. French speakers, I apologize. It's been a minute since I've studied French. Jean Margent Lacroix. I fell in love with that one image of the women at the races and how form-fitting the gowns were, and then to find out that they were actually made out of a silk jersey. I just loved the idea of getting in there with some silk jersey and draping this gorgeous form-fitting gown to a very curvy body. Yeah, that's the dream dress for me. By Innocuous One. What is your favorite item that you've ever made? And I actually love everything I've made in some capacity or the other. I don't have something that I'm like, I have really in my wardrobe that I go, oh, I hate this thing. You know, even if it's not something that I wear all the time, it's still something that I take a lot of pride in because it taught me something. I think my favorite costume pieces are my red silk plaid 1830s dress, but also like my Camille Clifford dress. You know, in almost my entire career, I have been closely associated with the 18th century. You know, whether it was my time working at Colonial Williamsburg or the 2 books that I've written about 18th century dressmaking and 18th century beauty with American Duchess, my entire career so closely tied to the 18th century that I was feeling very pigeonholed into it. I wanted to prove to myself that I was more than just an 18th century dressmaker, that I knew how to do more than just 18th century dressmaking. And so the Camille Clifford dress was my way of kind of proving to myself, proving to everyone that maybe thought that about me, and that's my own insecurity coming out, that I was more than just that I knew how to actually make clothes that fit a different body shape. I knew how to make beautiful things that were not from the 18th century, that I could pattern something that was not in a time period that I was familiar with. And so the Camille Clifford to me represents independence. It represents a leveling up. It represents me stepping out of a very safe place that was also, I was very burnt out on, but stepping out and going, no, actually, well, shit, I do kind of know what I'm doing. Like I'm not full of it. I'm not a fraud. I am just so proud of what it means to me that sentimentally speaking, it is extremely valuable to me, and it means a lot to me. Vivian asks, what 2 magical powers would you pick, with the caveat that power 1 could only be used on Tuesdays and power 2 only when you're alone? Okay. What if power 2 puts you in a place where then you're not alone? Like, is it you have to start it when you're by yourself? You know, but you can do it like around other people if they're not aware of you. Oh, I think I found a loophole in this. Okay, so power 2, when I'm alone, I can turn invisible and fly. Because if people don't realize I'm there, then they cannot acknowledge my existence. Therefore, I'm considered to be alone because my presence is not acknowledged, if that makes sense. And so then I am also able to fly, which is what I would like to always be able to do, not just on Tuesdays, but to be able to kind of like just thinking are about outside, you know, with the birds. Avoid traffic. Social distancing travel, right? On Tuesdays, I would love to be able to transport myself into any time, date, location around anybody else. And then I can leave on Tuesdays. I think that's actually a great way to do time travel. So yes, time travel on Tuesdays.
I'm the doctor, and I just snocked Madame de Pompadour.
Nina asks, what is your #1 hack for sewing that you think everyone you should know or be using? That's a thimble, frankly. I know all you people out there who are like, I hate thimbles, I don't know how to use them. I don't care, you should still use them. So a couple people asked me this question. Why did I name my dogs their names? The first one, the easiest story to tell, is actually Griff. Griff is short for Gryffindor. Shocking, I know.
Gryffindor!
When we adopted Griff, we got him on New Year's Eve from the Northern Nevada SPCA, so shout out to them. He was super skittish, very timid, and standoffish. And I couldn't touch him. I mean, I did everything that I could think of when it came to dog training. So I've been taking a lot of dog training classes with Suba. So, you know, I was on the ground. I was on his level. I was sitting still. And in fact, I actually sat in dog pee. So that was fun. And he liked people in the shelter that he was used to. And so that was promising. But he was just really scared. He was just really, really timid and insecure. But he took really well to Suba. And he was very submissive to Suba. He played really well with Suba.
Try the video. He says I can't do that. Whoa. Down for the count.
Well, she was kind of like, who the hell is this guy? And mommy, please don't leave me here. Like, she freaked when I took her to the shelter for the meet and greet. But he was like, ooh, who are you? Oh, let's play, let's be friends. And so we took him home. He was freaked out. He didn't know where he was or what was happening. What are we supposed to call you, buddy? Huh? What's your name? Hi. Oh, you dingus. Are you a dingus? Hi, buddy. Oh, hi, buddy. And he was just scared and he was shy. And so I joked to Jimmy and my mom, maybe we should name him Gryffindor to kind of help encourage him to be brave, you know, because Gryffindors were known to be brave. Like that's a part and like courageous, and it stuck. And so we called him Gryffindor as a way to kind of help encourage him to grow into his best doggy self. And so he's Griff now. Hilariously, Griff is not a Gryffindor. He is absolutely 100% a Hufflepuff. We've had him now for 6 months, and I've never had a dog like him, ever. And I mean that in the best way possible. He is the most loving, sweet, good-natured, obedient goofball that I've ever encountered. He follows me around like a shadow. He usually hangs out in the doorway of my sewing room when I'm sewing. There's Griffy, minding his business. This is as far into the room as he comes. He's not scared of anyone anymore. Like his confidence has just grown. Sometimes he's still fear-based if you kind of grab him in a way that scares him. Boy, and that was actually a much longer story about Griffy's name than what I anticipated. But we call him Griff or Griffy. Subi is my partner and I. So my now husband, as you're watching this, Jimmy, he's half Japanese. He's really into Japanese pro wrestling, which we actually went to the New Japan Pro Wrestling tournament in San Francisco for his 30th birthday. Like that was my 30th birthday gift to him. So random fact, I've totally been to a pro wrestling show.
Right there. Oh, he's packaged up.
And we also really like to watch Terrace House. And that was something that we bonded over when we were first dating. And we were like the first people we had ever encountered that like watched Terrace House. So when we decided to get Tsubasa as a puppy, we were talking about names. And so we just it started off like, well, is there like a Japanese pro wrestler name that we could do? Like that'd be kind of fun. But then we were talking about Terrace House, and one of our favorite people ever on Terrace House was Tsubasa. And it was just cool. Like, here's this like cool chick who does this cool stuff, and she's like a hockey player, and her name is gorgeous. Like, it's a beautiful name. And then we were like, well, that could actually be like a fun name for the dog, because like Suba, Subi, and so then it just kind of, we were throwing around a bunch of other names, but like we kept kind of coming back to Subasa. So she's Subasa, and we call her Suba. Or Subi, or Hooby, or Doobie, Tubi. And I started calling her Bossy a little bit too, because she is bossy. And so that's Subasa. So very different dog names, very random dog names, but all very much like have very strong meaning and representation of, you know, their personalities as well as like our relationship. The sewing room is not completely cleaned, but it is at least less cluttery and more manageable now. I can start sewing again. It's 1:30 in the afternoon. Let's see where I can get with this today before I need to stop filming. But first, some more questions. Rebecca asks, best place to source fabric, especially natural fibers, when you're on a budget? I like Burnley and Trowbridge. So this is actually a technical question, which I think is fun, but Steve asks, if you're using a Microsoft Android-based technology for creating your YouTube content, what software are you using to compile and edit everything together? For editing my videos, I actually use DaVinci Resolve, and it works on Mac and PC. It's free, and I actually just use the free version. It's extremely powerful in its free version, but I love DaVinci Resolve. I've worked with Premiere, and I downloaded Final Cut to work on my Mac, and Final Cut makes me like scream into the abyss. Premiere, I always had trouble with it crashing, and also Premiere's expensive, but DaVinci, I feel like it's extremely powerful. It's what I do all my editing on, and that's what this is edited on right now. So I use DaVinci Resolve. For CocoVid, I'm gonna be doing something with Bernadette, Morgan Donner, and Costuming Drama about what tech we use for our filming and YouTubing. So we'll go into more in-depth conversation for that at the end of July for CocoVid. Jenny Vamp 5 asks, how did I get into historical costuming? So the answer to this is academia. Compared to a lot of other people in this community, I actually have a slightly different origin story, if you will. I wasn't that kid who sewed. My grandmother tried to teach me how to sew. At the time, I wasn't into it. I didn't care. When I was a theater kid and I was into acting and performing and all that, one of my favorite parts of the productions were the costumes. When I was a theater major at Indiana University, I took costuming and I fell in love with it, because we talked about what did people wear in the past and what did that look like for them and just all of that kind of stuff. And so I asked my professor, Linda, I said, I'm really, really into this whole thing. I love the idea of what people actually wore in the past, and not just the theatrical side of it, but the historical side of it. What's the history of this? And so Linda said, Abby, you should take some art history classes. And then the rest is history. Focus here, Cox. I did a dumb thing. I accidentally basted one tie to both ends of the same bodice. Didn't realize that until I had finished sewing on the sleeves, but it's not that big of a deal. I'm actually just gonna cut it. It's just shorter ties, but honestly, I find these ties to be kind of long anyways, so I'm just gonna snippy snip that. But that's real dumb. All right, everyone, it is 5 o'clock and it's actually cloudy here, like it's gonna rain, which is kind of weird. Not something I'm used to. Griffey is about ready to start. I see you boofing at me because he thinks it's dinner time. But I have gotten... No. It's not 6 yet. Hey, back up. You're not allowed in here. You know that. Like I said, 5 o'clock. This... Oh, hi, Subi. This little heathen is... Just wait. Stop. Okay. All right, come here. I hope that you all have a very good week. I will see you all next week. If I get the dress done like before I put this video up and I finish editing it, I'll put a photo of the finished dress here at like this point now so you guys can see it. If not, I'll show it to you. I'll probably wear it like for next week's video or something. I hope that you guys have a good week and thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope I answered at least some of your all's questions. I kind of lost track. Don't lick the camera. I kind of lost track of everything, like trying to answer questions and clean up my space and make this dress, and it's been a really busy day. I mean, I've been going at this for hours and hours, but I do hope you guys have a really good week, and thank you guys so much for joining me here on the channel. I will see you guys next time. Yeah? Sounds good? Cool. Okay. Bye!